Hello everyone and welcome back to the KukieKnits channel. My name is Ira and I'm your host here. I am a knitter and I occasionally dabble in other crafts, and I'm coming to you from beautiful Sydney, Australia. And this is episode 15 of my knitting video podcast here on YouTube. So welcome. If it's your first time here, hi, hello. Hope you like what you see, and please do consider subscribing to my channel if you want to keep up to date with my content. And if you're a returning viewer, hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back again to keep up with my knitting journey. I am also available on Ravelry and Instagram as KukieKnits. And let's get started. So first of all, what I'm wearing the Abydos top by Lily Kate France. And I have knit the body in Fibre Natura cotton wool. And then the mohair is Kremke Soul Wool Silky Kid. The exact colors are available in my Ravelry project, but they're both like a dusky purpley mauve shade, I guess. And this is one of my favorite knitted tops. I even wore this when I was in Manila in the Philippines, and it was perfectly fine in the humidity, and I really love it, and I really want to make a few more whenever I get around to it. So let's get started into the main content of the episode today. My first finished object is the Vertices Unite shawl by Stephen West, and I have knit this in 5 shades of the linen quill from Pearl Soho, and it's all done. I haven't gotten official pictures of it yet, so I haven't worn it yet, but it's looking so beautiful. I love the size of it. And the drape of it is lovely after blocking. Hopefully you can see how nice and drapey it is. And the linen quill feels lovely to the touch. I haven't worn it yet, so I can't give you a 100% review yet. But I'm really happy with how this turned out. I really wanted the border to be this fun orange, which it is, and I feel like it just adds a fun pop of color. And I wanted the big main block of color to be this bright hot pink called Rhubarb pink, which is one of my new favorite colors. I love it. And the rest of the colors are sort of more backgroundy colors, which is great because it helps the orange pop out on the border. This was a super fun knit. I can totally see why people make multiples of it. I can totally see myself making multiples of it. I think maybe in the future I will try and use more scraps, now that I kind of have a vague idea of how much yardage of each I used. And rather than buying 5 skeins of a yarn, I did get this specifically because I wanted to try the linen quill, and they really have fun colors, so I don't regret it whatsoever. But I do have a bit of the yarn left, so maybe in the future I can mix the colors around and add in some other stash yarns and just make like a fun mixed color shawl. Like for example, like the same color is here versus, and like in this stripe here, but there's no, like, you don't have to do that. So if you have a smaller amount, you could always have a different color in here and make it a really fun scrappy shawl. I love how fun this is. I wasn't sure if I would like shawls when I first started knitting, so I never knit them. I was like, where on earth would I wear a shawl? But turns out I wear a shawl almost every day, especially to work. It's like a scarf basically, especially because now the new place we're in, we're quite high up altitude wise, and the house is hardwood flooring, so it's quite cold, and then it's quite cold outside in the morning. So it's just so nice to have a scarf or a shawl to rug up with in that gap between where like my jacket is and my head, I guess. The gap, also known as the neck, is so nice to cover the neck in the morning. None of this is any new / useful information to anyone, but it's just been my favorite way to wear shawls. And then if it's not that cold, I still leave it hanging down the front like this, where the jacket opens, and it's just like a little bit of extra coziness. If I need to, then I can rug up in it. So I definitely like wearing shawls for sure. I usually tend to do the Stephen West MCAL every year. I'm tossing up whether I want to do one this year or not. Not because it's not fun or because I don't wear my previous year's MCALs. I do. it just takes my whole month. And there's so many things I want to knit. It's not till October and it's already August. So I guess let me see how I'm feeling the next couple of months. And when he does announce it in September, let me see what sort of knitting headspace I'm in, and most likely I'll do it because it's always fun. It's fun to choose the colors. It's fun to like do the clues. But last year's was a lot of knitting and it took up my whole month and I didn't enjoy that aspect of it that much. So let's see. Anyways, this is the Vertices Unite by Stephen West in Linen Quill by Pearl Soho. And then my next finished project is me definitely jumping onto the bandwagon because I didn't even think about this as a possible project until I saw people making hot water bottle covers. Why is that so hard to say? And I've had a hot water bottle this whole time. When I grew up in Kathmandu, as well as the place in India that I went to school in, Nainital used to be really, really cold. Nainital was really cold, especially towards the end of the year. We would get snow. The school would close before we got snow, but October and November would be freezing and we always used a hot water bottle. So I've always had one. It's like a comforting thing. It reminds me of when my grandma would put it in the foot of my bed on a cold night, and then the bed would be all cozy. But here I used to not use it as much until we moved to this house, and this house is cold. So I started using it and I always just wrapped it in a pillowcase, and I definitely realized it was losing heat. And then I saw everybody knitting hot water bottle covers and I was like, ah, of course, of course. So I used the pattern, the hot water bottle cover by Emily Bolduan, Bolduan. And this is a free pattern on Ravelry. Emily is the owner, I think, of Maker Maker, the store in Melbourne. And I used some 8-ply scraps that I had left over from previous projects, some real cheap shitty yarn, I can't even remember the name. It's perfect and I've been using it a lot and I'm super happy, and it feels excessive, but I kind of want to make another one. But like, does my hot water bottle need sweater changes? I don't know. Like, I don't want to make another one. Super happy with that one. And then my next finished project is one that had been abandoned for a long time, and this is the Skratstillet by Fibre Creative. It's a pattern for wool folk, and I was knitting this for my husband, and it's knit in Drops Nepal 10 ply, Drops Nepal, which is 10 ply, in the colorway medium gray. And it's a little bit wrinkled now because it's been folded up and kept in this closet, but I'll show you, I'll pop in a picture of what it looks like when it's worn. I had started this almost definitely a year ago, and then I just left it because I had done the neck and the neck felt like it was way too long. It is way too long, and I didn't really feel like undoing the sewn bind off and then unraveling twisted rib, picking it up, blah 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 blah. So I just abandoned it, which is classic. And then this year, when I finally finished my poetry pullover that I started up, that I finished in the episode before this, which was also one of those whips that have been lingering for a while, I was like, let me look up when I started the Skratstillet. It's just been sitting without sleeves, and turns out I had started exactly a year ago, and I was like, okay, that's definitely the longest I've had a whip abandoned. So I better try and finish this up. So I pulled it out and I was going to ask my husband regarding what options he wanted for the collar. I thought if he would have wanted the collar shorter, I would have done that up and then done the sleeve. Like, so I would have fixed the collar and then done the sleeve. Or if he wasn't sure, then I would have blocked it so he could sort of get a feel of the collar, because he really wanted that long oversized collar. And I felt so silly because as soon as I asked him, he was like, no, even if it's long, I'd rather fold it and scrunch it up rather than not have that look. And I was like, really? Are you sure I can undo it and fix it? And he was like, no, I really like it long. So honestly, this whole procrastination process was over nothing, because turns out I had to do nothing to the collar. And I started doing the sleeves, and the sleeves are reverse stockinette. So I knit them inside out, and honestly, It like took me a week to finish both the sleeves, and I felt silly, and that's my advice on projects that you're procrastinating on because you think it's that much work. It's probably not that much work, but it's done. My husband's super happy with it. He hasn't worn it this winter yet. He tends to just wear one sweater the whole winter to work, which is such a problem because now he's starting to have a few sweaters. So I'm trying to encourage him to wear multiples, but he's like, oh, but I don't want you to have to block them or wash them again. I'm like, I don't mind, I'll wash them anyways. I'll make sure he wears it. That's the Skratstillet by Fibre Creative. And then the next finished object I have is the single malt sweater by Maxim. I also knit that in Drops Nepal in the colorway Deep Ocean. And I knit this as a gift for my father-in-law, and I've given it to him and he loves it. He honestly said he hasn't even put it back into the cupboard since he got it. It fits really well. The only thing is I should have made it slightly longer. So I made a slightly bigger size as my father-in-law has a little bit of a tummy. It's not anything that I had to do any shorter shaping or anything, but I knit just a size bigger up to make sure he had some ease on the tummy, but I should have also knitted a little bit longer probably in hindsight. But he tends to like tuck his shirts into his jeans anyway, so he kind of just tucks it in, so it doesn't really matter. He loves it. He's been wearing it all the time. I only got a picture of it at home in horrible lighting before I gave it away. It was really funny because we had a housewarming and I had a few of my knitting group friends come in, and everyone was like recognizing that sweater because my father-in-law was wearing it, and then he was modeling it for everyone. He was like, and we're like, looks great. So he loves it, so that's good. My feedback of the pattern was fine. It was fine. The arm shaping was a little like straight and then sudden then straight, so it kind of was giving very like, you know, kind of was making it look like he had saggy underarms. But after blocking, actually it kind of looked okay. So overall, I guess, yeah, it was okay. It was an okay pattern, and I would knit another one if anyone wanted it, but my husband doesn't like the texture and I don't like the texture. So maybe in the future, if my father-in-law really likes it and he wants another one, I'd consider making another one for him. And then my last finished object is just another pair of socks, because I'm a sock knitter now. Apologies for how gross it looks because I've been wearing it, but that's a good sign, right? I don't think I'm ever going to be the kind of, I am actively trying to keep my sock knitting casual and relaxed, because I definitely find that with every hobby, I kind of make it harder and harder for myself. I don't know, I like trying new stuff. So with socks, I've decided I'm going to keep it as my easy in the bag knitting. I wash them, but I don't like have sock blockers, and I wear them, and if they wear out, I'll just knit more socks. So this is my sock. This is, again, my go-to vanilla sock pattern, which is the pattern from my friend Mel, who's the owner of Three Cats Yarns. It's called Simple Top-Down Socks, and it was included in her sock class that I took to learn how to knit my first socks. And I'm really happy with the pattern and the instructions, and it has instructions for small needles, small circulars, magic loop, and DPNs. So, you know, it's just, you can't go wrong with it. The yarn, the gray, is Regia Tweed in the colorway gray. And then this colorway is from the set of minis that I got in my advent calendar last year from 11T1 Windmills. And the yarn was dyed by Skip Rope Yarns, and it's one of my favorite yarns, and it's so beautiful. So I'm very happy with it. Yeah, more socks for my cold house. It's been perfect to wear over winter in this house. And that's all of my finished objects. Moving on to my works in progress, I have 2 test knits on the go, which is new for me. I usually don't do multiple at a time, but one's a more complex one and one's more stockinette, so I figured they'd balance each other out, and they both have really decent time frames that you can finish them in. So my first test knit, oh, I'm obsessed with this, is the Nela, Nela, by Marzena Kolaczek. Marzena is this wonderfully talented, I'm going to pop a picture in so you can see what this sweater looks like. She's a wonderful knitwear designer. She does the most beautiful, intricate knits. And Marzena moved to Sydney last year. And I occasionally see her at one of the knitting groups that I used to go to. And I saw her show this pattern when she was knitting on it. And I was like, oh, I definitely have to make it. So we're here. So the yarn I'm using is Juniper Moon Farms Patagonia in the colorway Ulysses. In the colorway Icicle. It's beautiful blue color, which is usually not sort of my color, but I like wearing all colors. It's just I sort of gravitate towards knitting in like pinks and sometimes greens. So I thought this would be nice. So I'm still on the raglan. I have never used so many stitch markers in my life. These many are definitely unnecessary, but for me, I don't have to then think about what I need to do next. Just I know the type of stitch marker I've used immediately, what I need to do next. So it's just easy mentally for me to have the stitch markers on. I haven't tried this on yet. It's looking so beautiful. And that's the top of the shoulder. And then the back. Yeah. Beautiful. Very intricate. It doesn't need as much attention as I thought it would. So Marzena's done the smart thing where even though there's multiple charts, all the charts are the same number of rows. So it's really easy because she's put them next to each other. She's also now done, the testing progress has, I think the pattern that you guys will get will be a little bit different to the pattern that I got, because she's already released more charts with it together with the short rules, whereas I'm just working off of the first draft I got because I just managed to, that's just what I found now works for me because I did half of the knitting in that. But in the first draft she has the charts next to each other, but you just in the pattern, like in the raglan, when the stitch marker says, oh, the serpent lace, then I just look at the serpent lace chart. Even though the charts are next to each other on the page, they don't go in that order. But because they all have the same number of rows, it's been really easy because you're on the same row across all the charts. So I can just use it on my chart keeper from Knit Pro and have the magnet running across all of them at the same time, and then I can just it's working for me. I do not find it as taxing as it might look by when you look at the pattern. It's really, really fun. Loving it. I really like the yarn as well. So this is a new to me yarn. I got it from Sunspun in Melbourne. I had a birthday voucher to that store from my lovely friend Vera Marco from Vera Loves Knitting, who I always talk about in all my podcasts. And I decided to use the gift voucher to get this yarn. We were told, so it's a sport weight yarn. We were told to get a sport weight yarn that's quite round so that the cables and the texture doesn't get lost. And I originally was planning to go with the Durarum Natura Ulysses, which is their 5-ply yarn, and there was a certain color I wanted to use, and then somebody else on the test knit happened to be using that exact yarn and that exact color. So I thought, oh, for a test it's probably not ideal if two of us test in the same exact yarn and exact color. So I decided to go with the Juniper Moon Farms, which honestly, this is a beautiful non-superwash organic merino, so is the Ulysses, but this is almost half the price because it comes in 100 gram skeins. And the Ulysses comes in 50 grams. And I think the Ulysses was like $16 or $16.50 for a 50 gram ball. And this was like, don't quote me, but maybe $18 for 100 gram. It was almost half the price. So I was not mad at having to spend less to get a very beautiful, similar organic merino yarn. I've heard that the Ulysses is very stretchy. This definitely doesn't have that sort of bouncy feature. So it's probably not as round. But it's still very, very beautiful yarn, and you cannot complain for the price of it for a beautiful organic non-superwash merino. Very pleased with the yarn. Vera loves designing in sport weight, so I can totally see myself trying out more of the colors in this to knit some of her future patterns. And then my next test knit is the Piping Hot Sweater by Lily Kate France. I don't know if Lily's ever had a test knit where I don't like try to get on, but I loved this one because I was looking for a more stockinette sweater. So I'll pop a picture of the sweater so you can see what it looks like. Super fun, super classic. It kind of looked like it had the same saddle shoulder style construction as her cardigan did, the one that I just knit in the last episode. Of course, I can't remember the name, but luckily the notes are right here. Calm Down Cardigan. It looks like it has the similar modified saddle shoulder construction, and I really love the fit of that on me. So I thought, hey, sweater version with some fun contrast piping. Can't go wrong with that. However, it was a little bit more involved than I thought it would be. So it turns out the piping is done with intarsia. So you can see my embroidery floss bobbin that I'm using for a yarn bobbin hanging off. So that's the top of the saddle shoulder there. And I've got two of the bobbins hanging off there. And then now I'm doing the back. And then my colors. The main body color is the Bendigo Woolen Mills Rustic in the colorway Mustard. I got this when I was visiting the Bendigo Sheep and Wool Festival, and all of my acquisitions from that from that yarn festival are in the vlog that I posted. So I'll just link it up there if you want to watch the vlog, if you haven't been to Bendigo Sheep and Wool Festival, or if you just like watching my vlogs. There you go. And then the contrast color I've got for it is this. And this is the Fibre Art Shed 100% New Zealand Corriedale in the colorway Cheeky Galah. And I thought like it makes a really fun combo. They're both quite tonally, I feel like in the same page, like neither one pops out too much. So I sort of like the idea of that, like it would have like a different color, but like visually not too distracting piping. And I think it's definitely worked out that way. A nice subtle piping. Yeah. So this one isn't due till like almost the end of September. So I'm just knitting on this on the train or when my brain is done trying to read the charts for the Nela. And I'm really looking forward to having this piece in my wardrobe. And then my next work in progress, which I honestly haven't touched in ages, is the Koto by Olga Buraya-Kefelian. And I'm knitting this in the Skeinz yarn, Skeinz Tweed in the colorway Wisteria, which is this beautiful purple. And I'll pop a picture in of what the sweater's supposed to look like. It's a high-low hem done with short rows. Has this beautiful 3 rows of stockinette, 1 row of pearl pattern. Oh, okay, great job, Ira. You're showing the wrong side. There we go. Absolutely gorgeous tweed. I cannot get over how nice this yarn is. The color, the fleck, like the tweediness, how beautifully and like spaced apart and gorgeous it is. And I am currently, I've done the back and I'm up to, I think I'm up to the short rows for the top of the shoulder. So the short rows in this are shadow wrap heel, which I don't know off the top of my head. And I think that's why I kind of put it down for a second, because I also had the pattern on my phone and I usually like to work off of printed patterns, and I kept getting confused with what was her size, because Ana's a size smaller than me and I tend to immediately jump to the third one because that's what I knit. So I put it down, I printed out the pattern now, I've highlighted her size, and I should be ready to pick it back up. Yeah, beautiful. This is the Koto by Olga Buraya-Kefelian. And then my next work in project, this is a lot of work in projects for me, work in process. Oh my god, I keep saying work in project, that's not even remotely correct. So this was my 9-hour to Bendigo and 9-hour back road trip cast on. This is the Summer Breezy Summer Tea by Jane Balle, who's also known as Mindful Making on YouTube. She also has a podcast. I've knit one of her patterns before. I've knit the gumnut tee before by her, and this is her lace weight stockinette t-shirt pattern, and I have chosen this super funky yarn. This yarn is also Juniper Moon Farms Finley in the colorway Finley Dappled, sorry. So Finley is the non-variegated version and Finley Dappled is the variegated version. This is a colorway Flamingo, and it's 50% superfine merino, 50% silk. So it's just the most gorgeous fabric and in really fun colors. I wasn't sure how I was feeling about the color, but it's definitely growing on me. I don't mind brights, but I usually don't do brights and variegated at the same time. But you know what? Like a fun shirt, this beautiful luxurious fabric, why not? This is going to be a long-term whip. Once I'm done with my next pair of socks, I think I'm going to use this instead of the sock for just the stockinette in the round knitting, take a break from knitting socks and finish this up and then come back to knitting socks because I think I have enough socks for this winter. Take a shot every time I just said socks in that sentence. So the Breezy Summer Tee, a long-term knit, and it'll be a beautiful fabric and very light for me to wear in the very extra hot summer that we are expecting to get this year. And I have one more work in progress. Is anyone surprised? No, because I have a pair of socks. So I'm using Mel's pattern again for this one, the simple top-down socks, except I've changed up the toe. So I finished one sock. So Mel's pattern has a wedge toe, but I wanted to try a slightly different toe. I mean, I find that the wedge toe fits well. I just don't like how it looks. It's just so silly. So I decided to try a barn toe. So it just has a different rate of decreases. It's slightly rounder. I found this toe instructions on a article by Interweave that said like five different toes for your socks or something. It had multiple ones. So I tried the barn toe and I really like the fit of it. I like how it looks when the sock is, you know, flat and on its side. Except that the last stitches you sort of cinch it. I'm not liking that. So for the next sock, which is where I am now, I'm so on the foot, I'm going to try the barn toe again, but then I'm going to Kitchener the end of it to see if I like that better. And if I like it, I think I'm going to stick with that as the toe, still using the count and the instructions from Mel. And the yarn I'm using is Western, oh my gosh, it's a hot mess. Western Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply in the colorway English Rose. And I love the color. It's so fun. Love it. Yeah. So this might be my last pair of socks for a little bit. Probably not, but that's my intention, to then work on the tee I just showed earlier instead of knitting on socks. Yeah, so that's all of my works in progress. And now to the acquisitions. If this is not your jam, no worries. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching. And if you like watching acquisitions, like I said, most of my purchasing acquisitions since the last time I saw you guys is actually in the Bendigo vlog. But I've been very lucky to get gifted some yarn this month, I guess. About a month since I saw you guys last time. And I also have a sneaky purchase, so that's okay. Last weekend, I went to the Epping Creative Center yarn show. I can't remember what the official name for it is, but lovely Alicia was showing, and she's the owner of Natural Yarn Co. And I have the Fate set from her that I bought in my birthday vlog, if you guys watched it. And I wanted to support her, so I got 3 skeins of this beautiful colorway. Lovely, lovely green. It's called Minamura, and this is 100% superwash merino in 4-ply. And I'm planning to make another moonset tee, but a more positive ease version with this. So this is the yarn that I bought last week. The rest of the yarn are gifts from my lovely friends. So my wonderful knitting friend Ben gave me these 2 skeins as part of my birthday and housewarming present. Thank you very much, Ben. They're both from Swiss yarns, and they're DK weight, 80% merino, no, 60% merino, 20% cashmere, and 20% linen in these two lovely colors. I will probably make mitts with them. Again, I already have a pattern in mind. I'm going to make the pattern for, then I'm going to make for myself in these yarns, I think. And then my lovely friend Mel from Three Cats Yarns, for my birthday vlog, which was back in April, we went to the River Yarn Festival, and she gave me a little like birthday voucher that said 3 skeins of any color of my choice from her shop. I was so grateful. It's such a generous present. Thank you so much, Mel. And it was so hard to choose which colorway because I love a lot of her colors. I decided to go with In the Vineyard, which is this beautiful creamy base with speckles of purple and green and turquoise, and it's just so gorgeous. So I've got 3 skeins of these, and I got some just cream lace weight merino to hold with it instead of mohair, and I'm planning to make a beautiful lightweight full sleeve 4-ply sweater. I think I know which one. I keep changing my mind because I just want it to be perfect. It's such a special yarn. It's such a beautiful color. I have such a vision for it that I just want it to be perfect. So I think I know what I'm going to make with it, but I'm not going to, I can't remember actually at the moment. It's in my Ravelry queue, but I keep tossing up. So I think there's a couple of them in there at the moment, but I'm going to have to pick. Gorgeous. And then my friend Ane went to Norway and Iceland. She actually went for an expedition to Svalbard, and luckily she came back without getting eaten by a polar bear, so I'm very happy. But she got me this lovely yarn kit from Iceland as my housewarming present. It's supposed to be for me and my husband, but it's definitely just a housewarming present for me. And it's from, oh no, the yarn I think is called Mosa Mukul. Yep, and it's a blend of Icelandic wool and alpaca. And this package is really, really fun because you open it up. I actually have just kept it the way it was, but I have opened it before. And there's a little book in here that is like simple knits with, I think the yarn's name is Gusta, so simple knits, and it's got lots of different small knits that you can do, and like cute mittens and stuff with like color work charts, and a polar bear hat and mitten. And lots of fun little projects in here, and it's got patterns in 5 languages actually. Norwegian, German, French, English, and I don't know where the flag is from that one. Probably Icelandic, eh? In hindsight, probably Icelandic. So those are the 5 languages. I will show you guys the flag, but I don't want to call myself out for how bad I am with just, you know, the flags that look similar, like Australia and New Zealand, where it's just the color of the star is different, or the Scandinavian country flags anyway, so I'm not the best with it. And it comes with a little project bag, like a little backpack actually. So cute! And it comes with 3 skeins of yarn in this, from what I saw, I think it's bulky weight. I didn't put it into my Ravelry. Yeah, it says 4.5 to 5 millimeter needles. So I would say it's about a 10 ply or 12 ply, these 3 colors. And it is alpaca and Icelandic wool. I wonder if there's a percentage here somewhere. Yep, 66% alpaca, 34% Icelandic wool. So it's actually quite nice and soft. And I'll probably use one of the patterns in the book to make something for myself out of these yarns. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. And I totally didn't drop anything on the floor. You heard nothing, right? Thank you so much for watching. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.